Welcome back to Bloom. Learning how to use the power of pausing, turning impulsive reactions into mindful ones can really help you in any area of life. You don't want to be so quick to react in ways that you might later regret. Joining us now is licensed social worker Emily Camera with McNulty Counseling. Welcome to Bloom, Emily.
Thank you so much, Gail. I appreciate it.
You know, this kind of reminds me of the old, adage of like writing an email to yourself first and then waiting a day before you actually send it to that person. I mean, a lot can change after the heat of the moment.
Absolutely. You know, like the old adage of think before you speak definitely does have
That's a
lot
art.
of, right? It definitely has some therapeutic benefit, but in the heat of the moment, I think sometimes we can lose sight of that because feelings get hurt. We have knee-jerk reactions that trigger old responses and trigger old behaviors, and so it can become so easy to jump to the defense in an attempt to protect ourselves from getting hurt.
Right. I think that's exactly what it is. And, you know, we all have been practicing trying to be more mindful, managing our stress during this pandemic. But to your point, it doesn't take a lot to lose those coping skills and to lose those, you know, what you need to do in order to not react. So what can we do to help ourselves?
Absolutely. So, you know, something to remember, one of the things that I do in my work a lot is to remind people to just have a little bit of grace and some patience with themselves. So remember that when you get into a heated conflict with somebody, especially a loved one, a partner, a parent, a child, to remember that it's normal and natural to have a knee-jerk response, that's coming from a place of wanting to protect yourself. And the more and more you can practice those mindfulness skills outside of conflict, the more effective you'll be at remembering to use them during a conflict. When we feel triggered, I know that's become kind of a buzzword, but when we feel triggered to act in a way that we may later regret, remembering that it's okay to say, I need a break. I need 5 minutes. Leave the room, leave the space, change the topic, and then come back to it to find a resolution. It's okay to pause and say, how do I want this to go? Keeping in mind the end result that you're hoping for so that we don't get distracted. It can be easy to bring up old things like, oh, well, you said this hurtful thing to me, but 6 months ago, this happened.
Yeah.
And we get so distracted in that. And again, it comes from a place of wanting to protect ourselves and not wanting to feel hurt. So just remembering that it's okay to take a break.
So you remember that, but then is there anything that you can do in that moment to force the break? Because, you know, you're bringing your emotional level from here to here, and that's not easy for a lot of folks.
It's not. It's not. The best thing that you can do is take a deep breath. Okay. And one of the things that I teach folks a lot is keeping in mind the things that are important to you. And almost reciting the mantra of who is the me that I want to be in this moment right now. And remembering that if what's important to me is to maintain respect for myself and dignity, it's okay for me to recognize I'm getting tense, my hands are clenching up, I'm feeling sweaty, I'm feeling clammy, my heart is racing. And to have then, it almost comes down to a willingness to not engage. We see parents really effectively able to do it with toddlers.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I don't know. As a parent, there was no handbook. I'm sure I made plenty of mistakes along the way, but that was the one thing. I don't engage with toddlers or hormones. That's another one. I try to just step back raising 4 daughters. All right, but let's say for argument's sake that you messed up.
Yep.
You didn't take the break.
Yep.
You didn't press pause. Is there anything that you can do immediately to rectify that?
Absolutely. Yeah. I think every single one of us can relate to that experience of sticking their foot in their mouth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
We say something and then immediately it's, oh, that is not how I meant for that to sound, or that's not how I meant for that to come out. And so instead of, and again, for a lot of us, that instinct can be to double down.
Oh, yeah.
And so it's okay to say, let me try again.
Okay.
I'm sure you've had moments here on set where you've had to be like, I'm going to try that a second time. Yeah. We can do that in our real life. We can say, that didn't come out the way I wanted it to. or
great.
that sounded much meaner or much angrier than I intended it to be. Let me try again.
That's wonderful, Emily. This is great stuff. I really appreciate it. And it's so wonderful to meet you.
You as well.
All right. And for more information, you can go to McNultyCounseling.com or visit their Facebook page at McNulty CW. We'll be back with more Bloom right after this. Stick around.